Hello and welcome back to the read through of Smiles for the Miles, my book that's available on Amazon. If you've not watched the introduction and chapters 1 to 7, please read those first, or please watch those first here on YouTube on Rich Lord Life, as chapter 8 won't make any sense before then. So, chapter 8 is titled Rebuilding the Machine. Let's get started. Rebuilding the Machine. As you may know, in November 2021, I released a book called Rebuilding the Machine, The New You is Already Within You. This detailed the turnaround I made from not being able to run to building back up to being able to run 10k again. This was the period of time from spring 2020, which I've just described at the end of the previous chapter, through to October 2021, when I completed the Chester Zoo 10k. Man, I cried such happy tears that day. That book isn't just about the running story, it's about how I turned my life around then. If you haven't read it yet, then I would, with a fair bit of bias, recommend it to you. Reading this chapter hopefully will be good for you, but there is much more content in that book than in this chapter, and I quite like getting royalty payments if I'm honest. Square one. Everyone else is running. Everyone else is doing what I've been used to doing too. Everyone else is where I'd like to be, but I'm so far away from where I was. But I'm so far away from being able to do this, but I feel like the goal is too far away from me. This sums up where you feel when you see your friends and running acquaintances, yes, there's a difference, out and about running socially, happily chatting when they're running, enjoying being active together, but you are not there. You are not with them. You are not able to do what you used to do. You're on the scrap heap. You feel worthless. You feel pointless. You feel like an ex-runner. I used to run, but not anymore. Your confidence is rock bottom. You have your memories and you recycle them in every conversation to remind folk that you haven't always been unable to run. You try to remind folk that you had some great PBs in the past. You try to hide the fact that inside you are scared of the path back to where you were before. You are scared. You are scared of failure. You are scared of being a failure. You are scared that you can't do it anymore. You are scared to even be seen trying to work your way back in case you fail and others see you fail. This is not a great place to be. It's a common place for people to be, though. This isn't a feeling that only you have. This is a place where there are many, many people alongside you, so at least you aren't alone in feeling like an ex-runner. At least you aren't alone in feeling like you can never run again. At least you aren't alone, whatever. You do feel alone, you feel useless, and you need help. Help me! It's never nice to need to ask for help. We worry about what others will think of us. We worry what it will do to our image and our reputation. We worry that we can't be helped. Worrying doesn't help, but it's what we do when we feel like this. Asking for help is the right thing to do. Talking to the right people will do wonders for you. Finding a confidant who will listen, challenge and support you is the way forward. You may find that you need several people to drag you up from where you were at. I would recommend not just speaking to a friend, but speaking to a professional too. Talking is the key thing, not letting things bottle up and making you feel any worse. Stopping the rot, then finding the way forward. There are ways forward. There are things in your favour that will help you as you try and work your way back. When you first started running, you didn't know what it felt like to run 5k. You didn't know what it felt like to try and run a specific time at that distance. You didn't know what it felt like to feel consistent. You didn't know how to adjust your running or your goals to what was happening around you. You just ran. You just wanted to run faster and run further. Your memory, if used well, can be your best friend. Now though, you have experience on your side. You have a back catalogue of amazing runs in your armoury that will help you. If you use those previous runs wisely, I've said before that looking backward is only helpful if you are learning from something or for seeing how far you've come. Looking back to compare that you will only run a 5k in 45 minutes now, when you used to be a 30-minute 5k runner, that isn't going to help you. Compare what you've been able to do in the past, sure, but break it down further. How did you get started working up to that goal? How did it feel when you ran for 5 minutes in one go? How did it feel when you could run a mile without stopping? How are these experiences that you've conveniently filed away somewhere out of the way going to help you now? You need to drag out those memories and let those be the motivators for you to come back with, not the super quick paces or the super far distances. Set a new goal that is based on where you are now. Set a new goal that is based on where you can work towards achieving based on what you can do now. Set a new goal that is based on how you are feeling now. See what I'm doing here? I'm not advocating times, distances, races, etc. without context of where you are right here, right now. Document your progress. Okay, I'm an analyst. I'm going to say keep records. I'm going to say track how you get on. I'm going to say stay accountable by writing down and sharing news with how you're getting on. But seriously, this is all good stuff for staying focused with your new goals. By recording all this, you can see the slight shifts over time that show that you are progressing. By seeing these numbers and times and distances, you can see where you may not be working as hard as results you might need you to work. Have you gone a week without a run? What did you commit to do? You know what you need to do. Set your goal, commit to it, focus on it, achieve it. Hard work does pay dividends. Committing to a goal is hard work in itself. Life gets in the way. Difficult choices sometimes have to be made. Decisions where sacrifices have to be considered are hard work too. But, and the golden question here is not how much do you want it. I try to keep the cheese for my jokes. The golden question is what I do going to... The golden question is more, is what I do going to either benefit me or hold me back? This to me is a better question because it can be applied to more situations. Do I want to eat a healthy meal or do I want to jump on an app and get some fast food delivered? Do I want to get up a little bit earlier and choose to go for a short walk, or do I want to stay in bed a little bit longer? Do I want to choose to drink more water so I am making clearer decisions? Do I want to get my family support by committing to one session a week where I can exercise? How we apply this good or bad decision question, whether something will benefit me or hold me back, is important as it shows dividends on our answers and our actions. You can hold yourself accountable with this approach. If you need to, document this too. Write it down in your notes section on your phone. Helpful choice, unhelpful choice. Speak to your family and friends about how you can make more helpful choices if the list of unhelpful choices is too long. Planning. For me, as his book is showing, I was more effective when I planned. When I documented what was happening that week or what was on the horizon coming up, I could stick to my commitments and I could carry out the actions I had said I would do. I would reflect on what had happened the previous week and look to see what needed to change. I will talk more about this later on in this book, but this is how I rebuilt the machine. I communicated, I planned, I committed, I did it, and so can you. And so can your friends if it is them that need your help with this. If you believe you can do it, you are halfway there. You've got this. That's the end of chapter 8. Thank you very much. See you on chapter 9.